I just watched this video, and let me tell y'all, I really loved it. It really got me thinking. If you haven't seen it, Kony's big thesis is that Smash Ultimate is getting a little stale, and that may be due to a lack of stage diversity. As someone who's watched a good bit of Ultimate, it felt like Kony was directly answering one of my biggest questions about the game. That question being, why does everything feel the same? And yeah, I'm a Melee player and Melee players hate Ultimate and blah blah blah, but no, I want to watch Smash Ultimate. I like Smash. Smash Ultimate Top 8 comes on all the time before or after Melee Top 8, and I really do give it an honest chance. But after the 17th Pokemon Stadium 2 pick in a row, or Small Battlefield, which as a Melee player feels like the exact same stage, I'm kind of like, well, let's see what else might be on Twitch. But I don't want to rag on Ultimate too much. As I said, I'm a Melee player and spectator first, so I don't want to speak from a place of ignorance. But the video did make me think of Melee, and I think a perfect comparison can be made to really enforce his point. Also, I like that Kony felt like he needed to lay out his credentials. And yeah, I'm not Kony, but I'm PR in my region, I'm GM on Slippy Rank, and as terrible as it sounds to say, I'm coming up on my 9th year of playing Melee. So I've been around for at least a little while. So Melee's been alive for 20 years at this point, and at least in my opinion, it's still very interesting. I've always thought this was due in large part to the diversity in top tiers. Yeah, there may only be 7 or 8 truly super major viable characters, but this could not look more different than this. And aren't these characters supposed to be clones? And I know a lot of Melee players think this too. We all know that Fox Peach looks like a totally different matchup than Sheik Marth. But if you really think about it, is that any different in Smash Ultimate? Sure, Melee may have more depth due to an older meta and advanced mechanics, but just like how Fox Peach looks a lot different in Melee than Sheik Marth, Fox Peach looks like a totally different game compared to Game & Watch Sonic. But for a game to deny the odds and survive as one of the most vibrant and old esports while officially being considered retro hardware, something else has to be going on here. That's what brings me to Kony's last big point. Unlike Ultimate, stages matter in Melee, like a lot. One of the best examples in Kony's video was his comparison of blast zones, and how they are all kind of the same in Ultimate. We'll get a load of this. Yeah, that's obnoxious, and wanna know something even crazier? This move kills Puff at 57% on Yoshi's and 73% on Dreamland. It's almost like a completely different matchup. One of the most common complaints of any Melee top player is that certain stages suck. Fox and Sheik players think Final Destination could be banned. Falcon players cringe at the very idea of Fountain of Dreams, and Puff and Peach players, yeah, it's rough out here sometimes. And it's rough for so many varied reasons as well. Not just blast zones. Sheik doesn't hate FD because she dies earlier. It's because, on a platform, she's in contention for best character in the game. And guess what Final Destination doesn't have? Platforms. And what's even cooler is sometimes these perceived advantages or disadvantages slowly shift as the Melee landscape matures. Let's use Puff as an example again. Flashback to 2017. Hungrybox has just lost a game to a Falcon player. He probably got kneed at a very early percent and just died. Well, we all know where we're headed. But wait a minute, Wizzy just won and we're on Fountain of Dreams? Where Puff dies 13% earlier to knee? Well, it turns out if you give Captain Falcon, and specifically Wizrobe, a lead on a huge stage, he's gonna play his lead. So there are tons of aspects about stages that can be truly infuriating for top players. But as a spectator, it could not be more interesting to have such insane variance in stages. It keeps the game alive, and it makes each game, even in a long best-of-5 set, feel totally different. I remember specifically watching a Zane Jmook set where, on Final Destination, it felt like Jmook could literally never win. If you just took one game as a snapshot and told me Jmook has ever won a game against Zane, much less a set, I would have called you crazy. But the very next game, it felt like the exact opposite. Jmook was no longer getting endlessly juggled, and he suddenly had a platform to harass Zane from, and honestly, it looked like Zane could never win. Also, an additional after effect of stages being so diverse is that games matter so much more. When Leffen and Hungrybox play, there's a tangible tension during Game 1, and that's because losing or winning Game 1 means that we're either going to go to this stage or this stage for Game 5. And that's going to lead to drastically different results. It keeps the tension constantly high. Strong counterpicks also make for the best narratives. Mango's win at Summit 11 is legendary. And a huge part of why is because he was down 0-2, staring down the impossible task of beating Zane on FD twice. Something that has never been done before. Now, imagine after Mango won Game 3, they just went back to the exact same stage. Or for the remaining 3 games, they went back to 3 very similar stages. It would not have been nearly as hype or carried the same weight. Stages in Melee have always been huge narrative drivers. Melee old heads will remember Dreamland was once coined Mango Land back in the day when he used to play Puff.
Up smash. Why would they call it Mango Land? I mean, he just beats everyone on the West Coast anyway.
And of course, you can't think about Mewtwo King and not automatically think of the most iconic counterpick of all time. Mewtwo King on FD.
Finals.
And where are we?
You know where we're going.
Yeah, of course. It was not even a question.
And hey, again, maybe this is coming from a place of ignorance, but it just feels like Ultimate loses something by not having that diversity and not having these narratives. Remember Game 4 Leo? I loved Game 4 Leo. I got hyped for Game 4 Leo, and I haven't played Smash Ultimate since the year that it was released. Narratives drive hype. Like Coney said, if there was a, WarioWare counterpick available, what if there was a narrative about WarioWare Cola and he always won on WarioWare? And it would just be so much more hype if, he went into a WarioWare game and lost. That would feel so crazy, and I just feel like Ultimate lacks that right now. But yeah, like I said earlier, I think Coney made some great points, and I just wanted to share my thoughts in comparison to Melee. And it really made me appreciate an aspect of Melee I had not thought about much before. Maybe the next time I die to Fox Up Smash at 70% on Yoshi's, maybe I'll be a little less mad. I mean, I doubt it, but maybe I'll at least think about this concept again. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you liked it, please like the video. And if you really liked it, please sub. I have a super big project coming down the pipeline right now. It's going to be my longest video ever. I think you're going to love it. Stay tuned. Probably the beginning of next year, hopefully. But yeah, peace.